Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared.
Welcome back. We, today, are going to be talking about Titane from 2021.
Yeah.
And before we get into that, Felicia, what are you drinking?
I am doing that bubbly, the groovy bubbly rosé. And I put it in this, I don't know why I put it in this glass. I was like, oh, I want to make it a little fancy. But I had to pick like one of the most difficult glasses. All right. I guess it's better than a martini glass because it has this lip that goes up. I don't know what this is. Margarita glass, maybe?
I don't know.
But it's not easy. But I put it in that and it's yummy. We, my husband drank a lot of whiskey last week because on Thursday he goes, I'm not drinking for a week. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, not until next Thursday. And I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, okay, then I won't either.
Nice.
Goes, I need to flush my system a little bit.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'm drinking what is it called? Omission Brewing. Okay. It's a lager, light and crisp, gluten reduced. So there's like less gluten in it.
Is that what it's called, Omission?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's pretty good. I like it very, I'm like already ready for like spring and summer. I'm like fully committed to my boat life is what I'm going to call it. That boat life. And I feel like I'm already ready for it. We're
the
not
surfing
yes.
You do. Yes.
Yes. We're not too far away though. It's March. We have, maybe a couple months until it's semi-warm. So we got a couple months until it's super warm or like at least starting to be warm. And I'm like already up. I'm just emotionally ready for it. You know what I mean? I'm like just pretending like we're already there in the spring. It's sunny outside. It's like 50 degrees, which isn't super warm, but it's warmer than it's been. Anyway, and then I have another one of these. This is my second. Well, it will be my third drink because I have already had another regular beer. But this is that non-alcoholic Golden Dawn. I don't know if have you tried any of the other ones of these, Felicia?
I haven't. That's the only one that I have.
Okay, because they have 3, at least at the co-op here, where I bought this. And they have this one, Golden Dawn, which is basically like a wheat beer. They have an IPA, which I have not tried. And then I picked up a 6-pack of hazy IPA. And it tastes exactly like a hazy IPA, just without any alcohol, which is really shocking. And again, these are gluten reduced. Crazy.
I love those beers. Actually, Steve likes them too. He was like, I can't even, this is a really, really good beer.
They're so good. I'm going to drink so many of them this summer for my boat life. For my hashtag boat life.
I love it.
I'm going to try to stagger maybe like truly beer, non-alcoholic beer, truly non-alcoholic beer. It's going to be great.
I love it. I can't wait for all your Olympic surfing that you do.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it that. What have you been watching, reading, listening to, doing?
One thing. I have finished Yellowstone. So Yellowstone became, I know it, I'm sure I talked about it last episode, an absolute obsession for me and my husband. We watched them right after work all the way to like midnight. We got through all the seasons, purchased season 4. And so now are in a spot where we're waiting for season 5 to be released. Absolutely loved that show. It is excellent. I haven't loved a TV series that much since Breaking Bad.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
It's just so good. I love all of the characters, even the bad characters. We're so obsessed that I literally follow hashtag ranch life so that I can see the horses and the land. And me and Steve are like,
oh no,
we want to live on a ranch, but not like, we don't want like cows and buffaloes, and we don't want to herd things. Just like the land, just like the beautiful big chunk of land. We would like a couple horses, but only if we can afford someone to take care of them. But like, we want this big beautiful piece of land. Whenever they show that ranch, it's just like, fuck. That is so Steve and I are both equal levels of extrovert, introvert. We do enjoy entertaining and having people around, but selectively. We like the majority of the time is like just quiet. Yeah. Our ideal thing is like sitting on the porch. Okay, so this is if we had a ranch. Right now it's just sitting in the backyard. But sitting on the porch with a glass of whiskey, with a beautiful view, with a peaceful, that is our jam. And then, hey, let's have people over one day this month so that we can entertain. And then we have the quiet again. So yeah, we want a ranch now. And we're actually, where I'm at, in the city I'm at, they have a rodeo at the end of the month, and we're going to go. We're going, no, it's on the 19th. We're going to the rodeo.
This is going to change the trajectory of your life.
Yes. We can't wait.
We're going to meet in person. You're going to have fucking chaps.
I'm going to have like a piece of wheat out of my mouth and a pair of chaps. I do have cowboy boots, but I had those for a while. I've Steve got them for me for some business trip.
I do
but
too.
Steve wants, I'm like, TT and I are like, oh my God, let's get him cowboy boots and a cowboy hat for his birthday. And I'm like, in a pair of jeans, because he's totally a flip-flop with, a pair of shorts kind of guy.
Okay.
So I told him, because he's really tall, and so he would need to be like fitted for the boots and stuff. And he's like, oh yeah, that would be so cool.
Shit. You guys are going to have to start shopping at.
We have been brainwashed. The boot barn.
Yeah, there's a boot barn. Oh no.
He goes, honey, I would love it if you had like a little summer dress with a cowboy hat and some boots. Like a whole lot of fantasy going on here. So yeah, and we cannot wait for the next one to come on. We just absolutely can't wait. We were going to start 1883, which is like is a spinoff of that, a prequel, but it's on, I think it's the Paramount Plus channel, which is the new episodes are going to come on that channel. So we're going to wait. And then when the new episodes come out, then we'll get like a subscription shortly so we can watch all that stuff. And then we have our lives planned around this shit.
I see that.
That's it. That's been my life.
It's a complete Yellowstone ranch life.
Yes. Hashtag ranch life.
Oh shit.
How about you?
It's
that video game, right?
Yep. 100% Elden Ring all the time. All of the extra time is going to Elden Ring. Very fun. Jade and I can now play together because we have the two Xboxes. We have the patch thing that was happening is fixed. It got fixed like actually the same day that we recorded last time. Like, so that night we were able to play together. Or maybe it was the night before. I don't remember. But anyway, it is so much fun. It's going to take so fucking long to get through this game. Like on my game, you can see how long you've been playing. I've been playing for like 33 hours of in-game time. And I've explored maybe 1/6 of the map. Like, so we have so much time. They said, I think in the beginning that it was going to be like a 50-hour game or something, or maybe 30-hour, 50-hour. Just for some context, normally these Dark Souls games take me about 90 hours to complete all the way through. And like I said, I'm only 30 hours through and we've seen like 1/6. So it's going to take like 100, 200 hours to finish this game.
Oh, that's as long as my yoga teacher training.
Yeah.
But you'll have an Elden Ring at the end of it.
You're right.
That's awesome.
The experience of playing through. Oh, it's fun. But yeah, that's like all I've been doing.
That is fun. Oh, I know. Because of this Yellowstone situation, it is so fun to be totally, I mean, it's not good in the sense that I should probably do other things besides 5 hours of Yellowstone a day. But I don't know. It's fun to be taken over by something.
It's fun to be obsessed. I'm obsessed right now.
Yeah, it's fun to be obsessed.
I'm talking to all my coworkers. I'm trying to get everybody to play this game, even though like I know this game is not for everybody, but I'm like, you don't know until you try it. So I'm trying to get everybody on it. I'm like, you should play it. It's so fucking good.
I would jump on it on my daughter's Xbox. The only thing is, you'd be like, Felicia, I thought you were on this game. And I'm like, I'm still trying to get out of the main room. I haven't played games for so long.
Shit, if you're actually on Xbox, nobody's on Xbox, by the way. I'm like the only person of all the people that I know, other than Jade, obviously, who's on Xbox. So if you get it and you're on Xbox, we should play together. We can do it.
Okay, because I do. My daughter has an Xbox.
It's great. Anyway, yeah, but that's it for me.
Fun.
Any other updates for you?
No, that's about it. Yeah.
All right. So now it's time.
Yes.
To talk about this movie.
The time has come.
Titane. So the writer and director is Julia Ducournau. Ducournau? I don't know how you say it. Sounded good. But I think I'm close. So this is the same woman who did Raw. So this is her follow-up movie to that, which we do have an episode on. If you haven't listened to or watched that movie, you can watch it and check it out. The cast, we have Vincent Linden, who plays Vincent. And then Agathe, I think is how you say it, Roussel, plays Alexia / Adrian. And then Garance Marlier, I think is how you maybe say it, is Justine. And she was also in Raw as Justine. And also I learned today that Julia had done like a short called Junior as like her first film. It wasn't like her first feature film, but it was a short. And she was in that movie as well. So she's been in all of her movies, I think, up until now.
When you say she was in this movie as Justine and in the other movie as Justine, is this the same character in a different part of her life? Is that what you meant?
We'll talk about it later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so IMDb gave this a 6.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 89%, and 61% of Google users like this movie. Oh, and I did Letterboxd. It has a 3.7 on Letterboxd. The budget was $6 million. The box, but that's really estimated. Like there was an estimate for euros, and I did that to, US dollars, and so that's really rough. I don't know if that's accurate, but the box office was 4.6 million. All right. That's what I got so far. Any interjections from you, Felicia, while I take a little break?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Well, if you have not seen this movie, spoilers ahead. Yeah. I'm about to spoil it with my 2 minutes with Tawny. We're going to talk about it. I don't know if this is one that you maybe don't want to have spoiled, or maybe you do. This is up in the air, but I just thought I'd give the warning. Because now I'm going to give you the synopsis. I lose a lot of nuance in this too, just so everybody's prepared. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to give you the recap. 2 minutes with Tawny. Turn back now if you don't want to have this spoiled. Alexia is in a car accident as a child that leaves her with a metal plate in her head and a love for cars. As an adult, she is a showgirl at car shows, dancing on top of them, and a full-fledged psychopathic killer. When one of her fans chases her down in a parking lot to get a signature and try to kiss her, she stabs him in the ear with her hairpin. She stuffs his body in her car and goes to take a shower, but gets drawn out onto the showroom floor by the car she was dancing on earlier. She climbs into the back seat and has some kinky hydraulic sex before packing up and heading home. Later, she is hooking up with another showgirl and coworker. She hasn't been feeling well and takes a pregnancy test, which reveals she is in fact pregnant. After trying to give herself an abortion with the same aforementioned hairpin, she murders the girl with it, then moves on to another person in the house they're in, brutally kills him with a stool to the throat, and tries to kill others in the house, but isn't successful and has to go on the run.
I feel like we should clarify that it's like a big chopstick. When I think of hairpin, I think of like a bobby pin. And I bet if somebody thought the same thing as me, they might be like, whoa, I need to see how the fuck she's killing all these people with this hairpin.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I actually didn't know what to call it. Like at first I was calling it like a hair pick, but that's definitely not what it is. It's not a pick. It's a hair.
It is a hairpin, but like a chopstick.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like just a big long stick that she uses in her hair. Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Sorry.
Okay. She burns her house down with her parents in it and gets the idea to pose as a boy who's been missing for 10 years and breaks her own nose to fly under the radar. The boy's father, Vincent, believes that she is his son, Adrian. Alexia wraps her breasts and pregnant belly to fit in as Adrian and begins to care for Vincent, who desperately wants to take care of someone. Vincent is on steroids, constantly trying to cling onto his youth and body that he has built. Eventually, Vincent learns that Alexia is not, in fact, his son, but he doesn't care and accepts her as his own. When she goes into labor, he helps her deliver a baby that has a metal spine. She dies in the process, but now Vincent has another child to take care of. The end. Wow. I'm glad we didn't say anything about this movie actually before the synopsis, because if people hadn't seen it, I think it's good that they turned around maybe and there was no context for like what type of movie this is. Because we didn't even like give it a genre or anything, which I think is good. Oh, but how did you feel about this movie, Felicia?
Okay. So I have to say I liked the movie. I liked the visual, like the visual part of the movie. I thought the acting was really good. I thought it was interesting. I mean, I thought it was interesting. I didn't hate it, and I didn't fucking love it. It kept me interested. The beginning, I literally felt dizzy, and it was so weird. I was like, why? I've seen things that were just as disgusting, if not more graphically disgusting. And I put here, I think it's because it's cringy type stuff, like nipple rings, getting pulled, or home abortions with a chopstick, and you just are seeing her going, right? It's not like they're graphic with, you know what I'm saying, like a lot of blood or anything, but you know what she's doing and it's just enough. So that by this time I was like, oh my God, I can't even handle it. I can't handle this. My daughter came in, my middle daughter came in to say goodbye, and I just looked at her and I was like, I can't fucking handle it. I think my eyes were watery. I was like, I can't. But then that kind of stopped. Like the second half of it was not as the focus on the relationship with her and the man. There wasn't as many cringy moments. I mean, I kind of went, oh, like with her pregnant belly, or like, I thought they showed the pain really well, like especially her wrapping herself. You could just tell on her body with the cuts from the tape.
Yeah.
And I thought all of that was good. I thought the acting was good, but yeah, I didn't do research, but I did read a couple of reviews just to see like their take on it. And I see what they were saying about the themes, like relationships and in this and that. And we'll get more into it. I'm sure you have a lot of stuff, but I guess it didn't affect me in the way of like, whoa, that was a powerful fucking theme. Like, oh, it didn't make me feel like, wow, that was really cool. But I guess a lot of people loved it. So I don't even know if I was clear on how I feel, but I think everyone gets the gist of it.
Yeah.
How about you?
I have no idea how I feel about this movie, kind of.
Yeah.
I think it's like, I think I want to like it, and so many people have liked it, and it seems like such a big deal movie. But I have to say that I left feeling the same way you did, where I was like, I don't know. Basically, I just felt like, I don't know if this movie is for me. Like, I kind of picked up on some of the themes, I think. I definitely didn't pick up on all the themes that I think there are. And I didn't connect with the themes, I think is the most important part for me, and why I didn't like walk away feeling like I really liked it. I also didn't hate it, but I just felt like, I don't know, it's not for me. But I will say, since watching it, which hasn't been that much time, I watched it yesterday. So I think, we've talked about this before. Sometimes you need a second watch, or sometimes you need some time to sit on a movie. I think this is one of those that I will continue to think about and like more as time goes on, because just in the time that I've done the research that I've done, which I'm probably just scratching the surface, honestly, research wise, I have liked it more. Like just hearing about it and, knowing stuff about the director, I feel like kind of lends a different aspect to it that I didn't think about right when I left watching the movie, if that makes sense. So I feel like as time goes on, I'm liking it more. And I'm hoping that maybe the things that I'm going to bring up to you, which isn't much, like there's not a lot of trivia or anything on this because it is a newer movie, but maybe it'll make you feel differently about it too. But I also was just like, there's something about this that doesn't hit for me.
Yeah.
I feel like most people fucking love this. It won the Palme d'Or.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And also with that, it made Julia the second female director and fourth woman to win the Palme d'Or. Director Jane Campion, I think is how you say it, Campion, won the award in 1993 for The Piano, which I struggled with actually mentioning this point because Julia, as a director, as we learned when we did our Raw episode, is somebody who actually really hates being identified by her gender. She doesn't want to be, identified by like, oh, I'm a female director. She definitely takes like, I'm a person first kind of approach. So I almost didn't even bring that up, but I felt like it was notable.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we felt the same.
Yeah, I think so.
I really, really wanted to be overpowered by this movie. Like visually, I thought it was really beautiful.
Oh yeah,
I
sure.
really liked everything was happening. I liked the humor that was in it as well. I got it.
Yeah.
Like in the house when she's like, how many fucking people are in this house?
Yeah.
But it didn't lose it for me. It wasn't like a stupid interjection or anything. It like was so good. I thought a lot, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I got some of the themes just like you, definitely not all of them. But it wasn't a really impactful, powerfully impactful aha moment for me. Like, okay, I see, say for example, the relationships. She felt like she couldn't connect with anybody, but she connected with him. He was able to fulfill that space of not having his son by having her there. And then she left the world and left him with the son. But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like the emotion to it, or the whatever that's going to arise passion in me to go, wow, fucking amazing. It wasn't there for me.
Yeah, same for me. And I think part of it for me is that I have to have somebody to root for. And our first protagonist that we're introduced to, Alexia, is a psychopath. Like she just has no feeling. She kills all these people. And I can't get on board with that. So then later in the movie, we meet Vincent, and he's a little bit more of a sympathetic character for sure. And I like him. There's like warm feelings as a viewer towards him. But for me, I couldn't get over that. Like, I think it kept me at a distance as a viewer. And I just felt like I can't feel things as fully as I am supposed to be intended to, So I don't know if that's what it is for you, but that's, I think, how I felt, is like, I just couldn't get on board.
You know what? That's a great explanation for it. I also was not rooting for anyone in particular. Because even Vincent, yeah, he was a sympathetic character, but he also had that darker side, like injecting himself with the steroids and just like some of the time maybe it was lost in translation, like literally too. I couldn't tell, like he seemed a little scary, but then he was like, no, I love you. I'll take care of you. But he made me feel anxious a little bit. Like, is this guy's kind of on, like on the verge,
it was like volatile. You couldn't expect, I felt the same way. Like I didn't know what to expect from him.
Yeah. So definitely towards the end, he was more loving, but yeah, I felt like, I don't know. And to go all the way back to the beginning, why was she so fucking angry at everybody? So I did read something in that same one review that I read that it's hinting that maybe she didn't feel loved by her parents. But the problem with that for me is she was being such a brat in the car. Like, I have been in the car where I'm like, TT, please, for the love of God, stop. And if you were to record me, I probably looked exactly like him. Like, I need to get the fuck out of this car. And she just kept going, rum, 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 and then starts kicking his chair. So I didn't feel like, I felt like this father needs a fucking break. Mm-hmm. She is being a brat. So if that was supposed to be it, like she's doing that because she wants attention, still the same for me, because I'm going to bring up TT again. That little kid is absolutely worshipped and spoiled. Okay. And she does that to us like she's not getting enough attention. So that initially didn't make me think like she's just trying to get your attention. I mean, think like the first thing I thought was, shit, another movie that's just going to reinforce to Tawny never to have children.
Yeah, 100%.
So when she's so pissed, because then, she takes off her seatbelt and he goes, get your seatbelt on. That is a love thing. Sorry. If he's so panicked about her not having her seatbelt on, it's because he doesn't want her to get hurt if they're in a car accident or fuck it. But then that causes the accident. So I didn't understand that. So I think that what I'm trying to say is that didn't reinforce that I felt bad for her.
Yeah. Good. Okay. Great point. I think also that I got the impression that she was the way that she is, maybe even before the accident. Like maybe the accident caused her affinity for cars and metal specifically, but but maybe not, because before they get into the accident, she's making that vroom sound like a car. She's doing that already. So it made me feel like maybe it was this way before. And, it does feel like the movie sort of asserts that because her parents were cold and distant, and there are a lot of instances where you see him being cold and distant. Like, I think that might be the only.
But as an adult, where so now she's in a young adult. So it's been years of that. And she's barely talking to him. She's like already like a fucking serial killer. She's not loving. Her mom came in and kissed her on her head. And you can even see there, like her mom is, to me, I read it as her mom is attempting some type of interaction, but she's, it seemed like to me that they were fed up. But I do get what you're saying. Like when he was examining her belly, and she's like right here, and he was kind of like, I'm fucking over it.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, how much can you take, guys? Parents aren't saints. I'm just letting you know.
I love this.
No saint.
I didn't even think about it from this perspective, honestly. Like, I just thought for sure, like, these are some cold ass parents. Like, fuck these parents. Like, I just was like, I mean, I for sure think, with her in the first scene kicking the chair, the seat in front of her when they're driving, I was also like, yeah, this kid seems fucking awful. Definitely gave me some Babadook vibes. I was like, this is not cool. But I didn't ever think about it like, were there warm moments from the parents? And there were a couple. I do think it's overshadowed. And again, I think the movie is asserting that there's more cold and distant moments than there are warm moments from them specifically. But yeah, it's just interesting. As a parent, you're like, give them a break. Okay.
Like, how much can you take? Because it looked like she hated him from that. Like, she was staring at him in the hospital when she was a kid and had just gotten that surgery, staring at him. So I assumed that now it's been years of that shit because they don't even talk in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. He probably just wants her to fucking move out and get a life of her own because that looked miserable.
Yeah. That scene, by the way, when she's staring at him, gave me chills. I was like, ugh, because there's just something about that dynamic that I was like super excited to explore. I like that. And, you know, it's part of the reason why I think I liked the Babadook as much as I did is because of this very interesting like mother-child dynamic where you're like equally scared and affectionate for your offspring. And I sense that in this one scene in the movie. And so I liked that a lot.
Yeah.
This is a fucking brutal scene. Just before we move on from this very beginning, the first scene of the car accident. Oh yeah. Felicia did like a gag. A gag motion. Me too. I was like shocked immediately. This happens in like the first 5-7 minutes or something of this movie. And I was, you don't see it, but there is an indication because the car gets, it spins off and it hits like a concrete blockade. And there is a bloody impact on the inside of the window in the back seat. And so you don't see it, but you know that girl went flying and hit her head on the inside of that window. It's fucking...
She should have kept her fucking seatbelt on, dude.
You're right. She should have.
Right. And then they're hammering that plate into her head.
Mm. This is a shocking movie. Yeah.
All right. So I felt like he was just fed up.
Yeah.
Like I felt like there may have been points throughout the life that he tried to connect with her and she was just fucking done with him. She blamed him when she should have had her fucking seatbelt on. So, and it was not his fault. He was like, turned around, get your seatbelt on. Maybe he shouldn't have turned around, but that's a natural response. Anyways, I've defended enough. So yeah. So then we walk into her work.
Yeah. As an
quite
adult.
The car show.
I've been to a lot of car shows. Never seen a car show like this.
There's always like a sexy woman like going like this. Yeah. At a car show. Not like that. Not like humping the car. Yeah. But aren't there usually like standing on the little thing with the car? No, I don't know. I've not been to a lot of car shows.
I don't remember any of that on the ones that I've been to, but I can see how that would be a thing. So I'm going to say yes, even though I haven't seen it.
Okay. But yeah, that was crazy. I thought it was really beautifully done. All these women, the colors, the dark, the gritty, the cars were beautiful too. That fire car that she has a baby with was insane.
Yeah. Okay. Something that just occurred to me. Hold on. Let me take a note. Well, let's talk about it now.
Let's do it.
Why not? We're just going to jump around.
Let's just go.
It's interesting that... Okay, so one of the things that I read or heard about in one of the videos that I watched about it was that, sorry, y'all. We try to keep it linear. We talk about the first scene, and then we just go the fuck all over the place.
We start off really well with great intentions.
This is our process. So I was listening to this episode, and they were talking about how actually... most of the time that they show the two characters, Alexis and Vincent, Alexis is usually am I saying her name right? Alexia, is usually in like a pale, cold, sterile light.
Yes.
Like most of the time that we see her, she's like, it's like blue, cold, type stuff. Then we get into Vincent, and he is usually bathed in like warm, pink, fiery, because he is a fire chief, right? He's fighting fires. And so I think that's really interesting because they sort of asserted that, like, she is more identified with like the car, metal, inanimate objects, not feeling, not caring. Yeah. And he is the exact opposite, whereas he is, warm, inviting, caring, and he's always bathed in this warm. And it took, that level of warmth to basically affect her. And I want to take this moment to also recognize that these two ends of the spectrum, even though they are like mixed, and as far as gender roles, like gender role type stuff is a very apparent theme throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting that you have these two people on the opposite ends that are somewhat opposite of what traditional gender roles would tell you to be, right? Because men are expected to not be caring, nurturing. They're more hard, calculating. I keep talking about this in a way that is like not, you know what I'm saying though. Like
I totally know what you're saying. Yeah, this was all flowing real nice.
Thank you.
I get what you're saying. It's like they flipped it.
I'm not asserting that is how it should be.
No, you said that's traditional stereotypes of gender roles. Yeah, 100%.
And she is like a fucking uncaring killer. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. But anyway, so taking that aside, it's interesting that it is the car that she is dancing on and gets pregnant by is covered in flames, which maybe represents him later in the movie.
Fire chief. Oh, and he gets the baby that she has with the fire car.
Yeah, but they're kind of like a perfect merge of the two, like maybe, I don't know. I'm really guessing here, but just as we're talking about it, that just occurred to me that, it's a cross potentially.
Yeah, like he was really emotional, full of emotion and moved by emotion and warmth, like you're saying. And she was like emotionless, cold, no conscience until she started giving birth to that thing. There was something else I read too, just because you're talking about it with the gender roles, is that with her and aligned with metal, like the cold colors and the blues, like you mentioned. And then with the men in the firehouse, it was always like the firehouse, the bathroom was pink tile, like again, stereotypically traditional colors that are assigned to genders was opposite in the fire station, and the neon lights that they were bathed in were pinks and those types of colors. That was something else I read in there.
Here's my theory. Knowing what we know about Julia from Raw and her like vehement, unwillingness to be categorized by gender, even though we're talking about them as absolutes almost, like, they're on opposite ends of the spectrum, I do think all of the characters in this movie are presented with a range of gender roles, right? Mm-hmm. Like they are all of them in many ways. And I think that's actually why. So one of the podcasts that I listened to in the process of just doing a little bit of research, because not a lot of people are talking about this movie. Sometimes I go to Faculty of Horror to get more information on like the themes, but I don't think they have done an episode on this. Or Where I Smile Films, they did not do an episode on this. Our friends, the Fright Crew, did an episode on this movie, and I listened to their episode. And Jensen on that podcast is a major fan of this movie, and they talked. He brought up the fact that we do see Vincent in the bathroom with all of the pink tile, and again, pink is very traditionally feminine. Mm-hmm. And why is that? That seems like such a specific decision made by the director. And I think it's for that reason, that she actually does want to buck and throw out your traditional gender roles, because you look at this man who is both obsessed with masculinity in a way, right? Because he's shooting up steroids and trying to hold on to his like big buff built figure. At some point he tells her like fight like a man. There's like these very traditionally like masculine type things happening with him as a character. He's very focused on that, but at the same time he's so nurturing. He just wants somebody to care for, and like, so he has like all parts of the spectrum. And I think like every person in the movie really has that from the gender role spectrum. And I think it was an intentional decision to show that he is not that black and white. And no one is in the movie, basically.
I like that. I buy that. Okay, what I was going to say is when all of the firemen were dancing in a very sexy, sultry, slow way, I thought that might fall into that as well. I mean, I don't know. How do men dance normally? Maybe they do dance that way. in a sexy sultry.
I
I was like,
know.
are they all high? I thought maybe they were all on like ecstasy is what it looked like.
It did seem very party. But then you have the later scene where they're all partying
Mosh
again.
pit.
And it's the opposite. And again, the light is very blue and it's all just very like, masculine feeling. Like we're just going to shove each other around. Like,
yes. And then she goes up on top of the fire engine and does her sultry dance. And they were like, what the fuck? Which you understand because they're thinking the same thing as far as how a man should dance. But guys, you were all doing the same thing the scene before. So
yeah. I will say that these scenes reminded me of Raw. And I think we talked about this in our episode where there's these moments where you're like, what kind of fantasy? I think I talked about this. Like, this feels like a fantasy land where like these things kind of happen. But in this movie, it's taken to like a level 10. I felt the same fucking way about this movie where it was like, I highly doubt that these like group of firemen are like having a party like a bunch of college students bathed in pink light. Like, I don't know. It just feels very like, what's the word? Artificial in a way that I don't dislike. Like, it's very atmospheric and I like that.
It was very artistic.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
They were all on like LSD or something. That's how they were moving, just for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. Yeah. Reminds me of maybe like a Jim Morrison, The Doors type. Okay, I have to ask about Justine.
Oh yeah, let me tell you about that.
Okay.
So this is a quote from her in an interview, because I also was like, okay, is this Justine? Is this Justine from Raw? Right? Mm-hmm. But I don't know. This is what she said. There is a possibility that all of the Justines might be the same person, a mutation of Justines, and there is a possibility that they're not the same person. But now Justine is dead. So that's the quote. That's the quote I got for you.
Oh.
But the other thing that I didn't notice while I was watching the movie is that the two main characters are Alexis and Justine. I didn't pick up on Alexia. I keep saying the wrong name. But that is true for Raw too. And I didn't remember that. And also Adrian was her roommate. So it's like she just took the same names and incorporated them in this movie as well.
Gotcha. I see what you're saying.
But the fact that she's the same actress does make you think there must be some sort of tie-in. So I was waiting. Like, I thought that that's where we were going, is she was going to reveal that she is a cannibal and she was going to reveal that she was, attracted to metal or part metal or something. I thought that's where we were going. And so when she killed her, I was like disappointed because I was kind of ready for that. I was like, if we're going to go there, let's fucking go there. Let's be the weirdest that we can be.
I was so shocked when she killed her. It was like, whoosh, whoosh. She just like whipped that thing out and stabbed her in the face. And I was like, whoa. It was such a surprise.
Shocking. Oh, God. How about that nipple ring?
With the hair?
Were two nipple ring scenes, and they were both terrible.
I'm like holding myself. Yeah, the first one with the hair, and it's just like, oh God, oh God, oh God. And then when she like ripped it up, and then when she bit her, I'm like, I think I put here on my notes, oh God, with the nipple ring. Please,
I know.
Please stop with the nipple ring. Yep, that's what I put.
That was bad. Right here. The first 30 minutes of this movie, you said this earlier that you were like, I can't handle it. I felt the same way. I was like, and just for our listeners, Felicia has brought up the idea to me a lot about us doing like reaction videos. And I constantly tell her, listen, I'm not a reactor. Okay. I'm not going to like watch something and react. I just don't react. I watch it. I internalize, whatever. I have never reacted more than I did in the first 30 minutes of this movie by myself, totally alone, watching it. It was probably one of the most uncomfortable, affecting movies I've ever watched. I was constantly shocked, talking to myself and looking away from the screen. That's how crazy this fucking movie was. And like you said, it calms down after that, but Jesus Christ. The first, I mean, I know we're jumping all over, but I'm going to go back to these first few scenes. Just the visceral nature of it, especially, I've got to say, the self-abortion with this hairpin is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever watched. And you don't actually see anything. You know what she's doing because she pulls it out of her hair, looks at it, and then puts it where it needs to go.
And you can hear it.
Yeah, there's this sound. There's a sound. And I was like, I could not look at the screen even though nothing was happening. And I never feel that way. I never look away. You know me.
Yeah.
I'm in. I'm here to watch it. Not this. This was like my worst nightmare, actually.
Yeah, I'm not joking when I said that I felt dizzy. I was like, oh my God. And you could just hear it. So even if you look away and then she's like, and I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, please.
Please. And then I put here self-abortion. That's all I put. That's all I put. It was too much. And then next I literally have tears in my eyes. I was like, I'm at a point where actually that was right. By the nose breaking part. Fuck. So for all of you, she wants to change her look, and there's other stuff we need to go over before then, but she wants to change the look of her face or disguise it so she could pretend to be this missing boy. And so she's punching herself in the face, and then she feels the sink and just breaks her nose on the sink. Literally, that's when my daughter came in and my eyes were full of tears. And not like as I was sad, I just looked at her and I was like, it's too much. I think I have traumatized myself. I think I just hit a point where I'm going to need therapy. It's too much.
I also had to pause it, dude. And I was like, my feeling watching the first, 30 minutes, I was like, and I actually messaged Mark from Podcast on Elm Street because he was like, oh, good luck watching that movie. And I knew he had seen it before. And I messaged him and I said, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I watching? What is this? What have you subjected me to?
Oh my God.
I just don't even know what to say. I mean, it's like you have to experience it in a way that just is awful. And it was so terrible.
Yeah.
And great. Let's go back to the stool.
Yeah.
The stool scene. So she beats this man with the leg of a stool, shoves it into the back of his mouth.
He's lying down on the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she has the fucking audacity to sit on the stool. I just about died, dude. I was like, no, don't. I couldn't handle it. Was so.
Then you just hear it crunch in through the back of his skull.
Visceral is I feel like the best word to describe the first part of this movie.
Lots of sound.
Yeah.
Like sound when she's eating, sound when, movies have sound, but this was just like constant, really loud.
There was definitely like a focus on that. Mm-hmm. And I said the first part of the movie, it's a whole movie, but for sure the first part is the most affecting. God, it was so gross. And again, you don't see it. They actually, cut in such a way that you're not seeing the worst parts of this kill, but your mind is filling in the blanks. Yeah. And I think that's really hard to do. And I have to give it up to her for being able to accomplish so much cringing with, you do see some stuff, they show some stuff, but it's just really well done. This is probably my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah, the house scene.
Well, just the visceral
gotcha,
affecting response of the gory parts of this movie, or not even gory, but just the body horror aspects and violence. It's so spot on.
Yeah, I agree. That's one of my favorites. And I also just loved the color. I know that sounds weird, but just how, like, even when they were all at the back to the beginning, everyone, where they're all at the car show, just the colors and the shine and the neon, and even all throughout the movie, I really like the look and feel of it as well. Mm-hmm. Really good acting. Oh, one part I cringed. Well, I thought they did such a great job as well when she's like taping herself, she's binding herself. And then when she takes it off and you can just see the cuts within her flesh and the bruising around her breasts and her stomach. And then you can just, God, you don't even need to have been pregnant before. Just thinking of how she's sucking all of that and a baby like into her body. And then when they were all dancing and her dad or, Vincent picked her up over his shoulder and she's like, and you're just like, oh no.
This
put
part
her down.
I was like, I mean, we've talked about this before. I fucking hate even just seeing pregnant people because it makes me anxious. I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen? I don't want to watch anything happen to this person. I can't handle it. And so as soon as this scene was happening where everybody was like moshing around, I was like, fucking, I knew it. I knew we were going here. I knew she's going to get hit in that belly. It's going to be bad. I was just like, please, God, no. So when he picked her up on her shoulders, I was like, fuck. But that doesn't happen. And it's okay. Probably because it's like a metal dome.
Oh, well,
situation.
she does go, like she does seem like it hurts.
It kind of hurts her.
Yeah, but it doesn't, you're right. Nothing comes from it after. Like she's not bleeding.
It doesn't hurt the baby, that we know of. So, I mean, this is a whole new realm of babies.
Yes.
That nobody has any.
I think in that next, okay. So with a baby, when the next half of it where she has like the motor oil coming out instead of blood and coming out of her nipples and stuff like that. And when her stomach starts to tear and you can see there's like metal in there, that wasn't as gross to me because it was so, I thought it visually, they did a great job, but it was so otherworldly.
Yeah.
At that point. When there was a hole and she was itching it. So that was making me uncomfortable. I'm like, dude, what are you itching? And then she itches and it rips a little. I'm like, oh my God, stop. And then you saw a glimpse of something in there. There wasn't like that metallic yet. There was like a white, just like a glimpse. And you're like, oh shit, stop doing that. But then, when it was tearing, you were like, oh my God. But when you saw the shine, almost alien-like, I don't know. That wasn't as gross to me, but I was really like, what is she going to give birth to?
Me too.
If it's a Cadillac, this is going to be ridiculous. Like a little mini toy car. Like what on earth is it going to be that's not going to ruin the movie? So I do have to say, I liked the look of the baby. I thought that was pretty, because what were they going to do? I loved the look of the baby. That was pretty cool, like realistic-ish.
Yeah.
And then when the baby turned its head and you see the metal plate, but it's not like it shows you the metal plate. I mean, it's still kind of hidden. You just get a glimpse of like the side of its head. I thought that was really well done.
I did not pick up on that.
Good. Yeah, it's like really quick. It has the same piece of metal on the side of its head by its ear, like its mom.
Oh, okay. I just saw the spine and I thought, okay, it's at least somewhat, integrated into being part metal or something.
Yeah,
I agree. I thought like maybe we were going demon baby. Like I thought maybe,
or like dead, something dead and disfigured.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
And I was also like, I don't know what I'm about to see.
It's like, there's no way it's going to be a car. That would just be hilarious.
That would be too silly.
Yeah. A car with human legs or I don't know. Yeah. I liked the baby. Like, what is that guy going to do now, though, with this metal baby? He's going to raise it, but people are going to be like, what the fuck?
No.
What happened to this baby?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's going to be fine. He's going to keep everybody in line around that baby.
Yeah, but doctors are going to be like, what happened to this baby? Even when it's a kid, like if he keeps it hidden until it's a kid, like it has to go to the doctor for any reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think that meant? Like, it's just this baby is going to have another chance. It's going to be probably picking up some, partially cold or sociopathic or whatever from the mom, but also life and love. But it's not his biological dad, but still he has him. Anyways, I asked you a question and then rambled. What do you think that meant, this half metal baby?
I don't know. I honestly, as a person, myself, I did not think anything about the baby itself. I thought, oh yeah, this is like a really nice way to tie up his storyline, basically. And now he has like a child to take care of again, just the way that he's always wanted, you know. But
because she probably could have never given him fully what he wanted.
Yeah,
like if she would have, let's just say, healed or what have you, she was making a connection with him, but I think she seems like off.
Incapable of, you know, the same level of connection. Exactly. But I did read or hear in one of the things that I was listening to about how maybe this could be symbolic of the merging of people and technology, basically, like how we are becoming more and more reliant on technology and equipment, machinery. And, you know, this is like
Jesus, I did not pick that up at all.
Yeah, I don't get that from the rest of the movie either. So I don't know, maybe that's one lens to look at it. But for me personally, I didn't think about it from like a baby person. Like, what does this baby mean? I took it more like, what does this mean for Vincent, basically?
Okay.
Yeah. What about you? Did you have a thought or theory?
I tried to noodle on it a little bit. I immediately thought, oh, now he has his child. Yeah. I wonder if it's a boy even. Maybe he has his son. He can care for this baby. She, like, really, what were they going to do with her? Was she just going to get better after that? Like, sew up her stomach and get better? That would have been a weird thing. So now it's those two. But then because the baby had that metal spine, but it was born of a car, so it obviously had to be off in some way.
Yeah.
I was just trying to see if there might be some meaning there with humans and machinery, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. It does feel like there's a lot to read into on this movie. Like, I think there's a lot of different ways that you can sort of read it. You know, I'd be curious to know what you think, you know, just what your initial thoughts were on the themes and if it was what it represented. I don't know. Was there something that stuck out to you right away?
No.
No.
I just the very uncomfortable gore and the good acting. I mean, there was a lot of like sex and sensuality and over sexualization. I don't even know if that's a word, but you see that a lot in French movies anyways, you know? So
yeah,
they are definitely not shy of just showing you the real sex, gritty, you know, naked bodies, all that sort of great stuff. So I didn't think much into that. No, I didn't, honestly.
I know a lot of people
definitely when it got to the relationship with him and him breaking through her, you know, her walls but yeah.
Yeah. I think I've seen people talk about like the car and the pregnancy being like symbolic of things.
Oh yeah, like what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I want to know. Not that it's not. I do definitely feel I'm missing something.
Yeah.
And it's that to make me go, oh, fuck yeah. That is so cool. Like, why like she loves cars because she feels like she's a part of it now. She has metal in her. And she's having sex with the car. What? I don't know. I feel like maybe there's something there and I just don't know.
I agree. I feel like this movie a little bit is like too smart for me.
It's probably way too smart for me too.
Like, I get some, like I, you know, the first time through just on my own, I definitely was like, okay, I'm definitely seeing some gender role type stuff and some, what's it called? Selected family. Is that the right word? Chosen family.
Yep.
Themes, right? Those were the couple of things that I think I picked up on the most. And aside from that, I think there's a lot of other things that you could pick up on. And I didn't have it in my brain to pick up on those things. And if there is symbolism there with the pregnancy in the car and having sex with the car, like, I don't know what it is.
I read something along the lines of the reason that she, had sex with the car and, has motor oil coming out of her and stuff like that, is that she has become like a machine herself. She's cold, void of conscience, and she's just like a machine. She just kills and survives, and is just completely shut off and doesn't identify at all with being a human. She can't even identify with other human beings and doesn't even identify herself as a human being. Because of this, because of how she is. And so then it made me wonder, so is this symbolic then? Is it symbolic, like the motor oil coming out of her, giving birth to the baby with the metal spine? Is it not really that? Like, is this not really a metal baby? But this is like a symbolism of how, and when she meets Vincent, she's almost breaking through that a little bit. So maybe that baby is tearing out of her and is making that connection with human, but also with his or her mom, their mom, because it's part mom, but also has Vincent. I was very surprised that Vincent was a little more freaked out that her pregnant belly was ripping open.
Yeah, he was.
And the baby was part metal. He was pretty chill. He helped her through it. And then held a baby and was like, I'm here.
Yeah, he was like, I'm going to raise this baby. I was like, okay.
I wondered for a moment if it was symbolic with the motor oil and stuff, because when she had it coming out of her breasts and everything, and that woman came in, she was shocked that, I don't think she was shocked it wasn't her son. I think she knew that Alexia wasn't her son. But when she walked in, she was like, how dare you? And then she's like, you poor thing, just take care of him, and left. Where you would have that shock, and also the shock of this black shit is pouring out of this woman's breasts and stuff.
Yeah. I think, again, this feels very like fantasy land for me, in the way that, like, within the context of the movie, it's not weird because we're kind of in this weird, made up place. And again, I felt like this for Raw too. Like, there's like this weird stuff happening that people don't seem to be affected by, that you would be affected by in real life. And I think this is just one of those things to me. Maybe it is symbolic, but the way I read it is just like everybody's just accepting in the moment of this
weird. What if it was symbolic? Like, hear me out on this. What if it was a symbolic, her struggle with, she is, like we were talking about, without a conscience, killing people. I don't know if she's without a conscience, but she has built this like cold, calculating. She kills with ease. Like, the worst thing that happens when she's killing is that it makes her tired because it's a lot of energy. But other than that, she does not seem at all. It's like business as usual. Now she has a life, a human life. She's able to push people away, right? She can mess around with Justine, and when she's done with it, done. She ends that person's life. Now she has a human growing inside of her. What if this is symbolic of her struggle with her own body that she can't control? She can control how people come in and out of her life, but she cannot control what's happening with her body at all. And it's this struggle with her body fighting against her and who she is in her head. And then Vincent breaks through that, but she ends up dying, and then he's able to take that baby.
I could see that. I could also see maybe it's the struggle between the, masculine and feminine, basically, in the...
like the nurturing. Like, she cannot keep, her breasts are producing milk to nurture a baby, and she's like...
And she can't stop it, but it is not milk, it is motor oil, which is, again, machinery. It's like cold and calculating, but she can't, stop it either. So she has to give life at this point.
Yeah, she tried to end it.
Yeah, couldn't.
Yeah, there is definitely a battle between her and her body as well. And I love how you mentioned that, because I didn't think of that fully, but the nurturing as well. Like, she's trying to stop this. She can't.
But she can't, and she also is caring for Vincent too, right?
She starts to care for Vincent, and then she has a moment of when she sees the baby's hand push in her tummy.
Yeah, where she's
and then
happy.
She says, "I'm sorry." Remember? She held her belly, and then she had said that she was sorry. At some point,
but she
said
seemed happy.
Yeah, she seemed happy. No, like sorry of everything I put you through.
Oh, okay.
Like sorry, like that.
Yeah,
she seemed happy for a moment. She realized.
To me, this is what the movie is about. Is that it is a movie about unconditional love and how that is like created, I guess, like or what it produces, I guess I should say. Like he loved her unconditionally, even though she wasn't his son. And that produced a warmth and a nurturing within her that she did not have previously. And so I think that for me is the heart of the movie.
She was looking for love from her father that she never got. He was looking for the love from his son that he was robbed of.
Right.
They found it in each other.
Yes. And they were, in some very specific ways, polar opposites, but in other ways, very complex characters who, experienced all or exuded all parts of gender role stereotype, spectrum. And they just were the right people that connected to make a change in each other's lives, basically.
Yeah. And I think you already said this, but I'm going to repeat it just in case to make sure I got it right and because I liked it. Maybe the director did just scramble up all the stereotypical gender things because of how against gender she is. You said that right earlier, or against gender they are.
Yeah.
And so there's not much more to read into that. It's just like, I don't want that shit in my movies.
Yeah, or at least I think what she's trying to say is no one is identified or not identified. No one is, painted in specifically that light. No one is black and white that way. We all, experience different levels of that type of stuff. And we're not just like a girl or a boy, basically.
Yeah, pink or blue.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you have her, who she was chosen, I think it's Agathe. The main character, Alexia, was chosen because she looked androgynous. And actually, this is her first feature film.
Whoa.
I forgot to mention that earlier.
Ooh, I hope she gets a lot more because, dude, she fucking nailed it.
Fucking next level. Wow. I would have never guessed. Like,
next level.
Really great acting. But she chose her she just found her on Instagram because she liked that she looked androgynous.
Shit, that's a find. Not only do you just find someone on Instagram, they happen to be an amazing fucking actor. We know that's not easy to find with all the movies we fucking watched.
Right. And also, though, I think you have to be a good director to get somebody to that place that you want them to be. But, I think, you see the complexity. You see the fact that she experiences many things throughout the movie, like when she gets on the bus, right? And she sees the other woman being harassed by the men in the back of the bus. She gets off the bus to go back to Vincent. I think both partially because she does care about Vincent and also because she recognizes that presenting as a woman is dangerous for her. And she's probably actually better off in the situation that she is in now.
Yeah.
But she does display like masculine things. But then when he starts to, like, what's the word? Accept her, that is when she gets on top of that truck and starts dancing in like a feminine way, because that is her too.
Yeah.
It's not, just one way or the other. She is all of these things. And so she feels more comfortable showing that part of herself as well. And I don't know. I think you're right. It's like, it's not just one way or the other. This director really wanted to say, like, we are all things. And so are all of my characters. You cannot paint them in one light or the other. And I think she uses the extremes as illustration points, basically. But at the end of the day, they're all layered.
Yeah.
I do want to go back to, we were talking about the giving birth to the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that was like a seedling for this movie for her is she said she began to have graphic nightmares about giving birth to pieces of a car, one grisly bit of metal at a time. She said, I think the collision between this pure act of life and this material that is dead and cold on the floor was something that disturbed me and was also attractive to me.
So this came from her dreams. These were her dreams that she was having?
Yeah. The director, Julia.
That's really cool how she took that bizarre dream and created this bizarre movie. It's really great.
I know, I like it too. It's like interesting.
This dream. And then from that little bit of this type of a nightmare I'm having, I've created these characters and this world and this whole storyline. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think my last notes are all in relation to Raw. So if you haven't seen Raw, try to skip forward maybe. I don't know if I'm going to ruin anything necessarily though. So this is all from an interview that she did. So I'm going to jump in and out of quotes basically. So she said, people wanted Raw too. Like Raw, but more gory. She said, rolling her eyes. I knew I was not going to yield to them. And at the same time, you can't help but being afraid that if you don't give the people what they want, they're not going to like it. Then this is the interviewer. When I ask her why she didn't take a break, she looks at me like I have 7 heads, something she does often, and says, there is no way I can actually enjoy my life if I think I'll never be able to do something ever again. The only way was to try. And she talks about how she sat down at her computer for an entire year. Every day, she said she got up, showered, got dressed, sat down at the computer, and nothing came. Like she just had no idea. And it was the pressure of following up Raw because it was so big. And in a different interview, I read that she said it took up too much space. Like in our episode, we talked about the fact that people blew it up into this huge deal and people were like throwing up and passing out in the movie. And it was like, she wasn't entirely happy with that response because that's not really like what she was going for.
Yeah.
So about that, she said, she insists she didn't want to gratuitously shock anyone. She just wanted to use the concept of cannibalism as a prompt to urge her audience to question their humanity and to create empathy in the face of the ultimate taboo, which I think you probably said on our episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she, in the process of watching this movie and reading this, I was like, I can totally see that in this movie too. Like whereas she is sort of asserting in Raw that was the ultimate taboo, I disagree. I think murdering people is the ultimate taboo. Mm-hmm. So now we're in Titane. We're watching our main protagonist murder people coldly, right?
Well, murdering them and then eating them would be the ultimate taboo. I think if you're a murderer, think about if you're a murderer or you're a cannibal.
Yeah, I think the difference for me is in Raw, it feels like a thing that she can't control. It's like a thing that is caused by an illness, right? There's just spoilers for Raw. But because she ate an animal part, it caused something within herself. So it feels like she's out of control, whereas this person feels, I know it's out of her control that she was in a car accident and all of that, led to this maybe. But like I said, she feels kind of like a psychopath before that even happened. So it feels like this person, they don't have control over themselves, but I don't know. Does that make sense? Like this feels worse to me. And maybe it's just because, I don't know, cannibalism is fucking awful to me too. But like, I feel bad for Justine in Raw in a way that I don't feel bad for her Alexia in this movie. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm doing a bad job of articulating it, but I feel like Justine is a more sympathetic character than Alexia, basically.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I agree with that. Yes, I agree. I totally agree with that.
And I see how she's doing this again. We have somebody doing the ultimate taboo, being a serial killer is basically what I'm saying. She's killing multiple people and does not give a fuck about it, doesn't give a fuck about them. And now we're forced to see the humanity in this character for the rest of the movie for like an hour. And I don't know how I feel about that, you know?
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying. And I was looking, you had said something about control. Right here, this was on robertebert.com. I don't think he wrote this though. It was somebody else, Sheila O'Malley that wrote this. But it says, as with Ducournau, sorry if I totally said that wrong, feature debut Raw, Titane is fascinated by the body's vulnerabilities and urges, its ravenous process, and how the collective we attempt to deal with all of this, either by gorging ourselves or conversely, by sublimating the need into other things. Neither process is pleasant and or socially acceptable. You can't control the inherently uncontrollable. It's a lot. It's a good, God, it just opens up so much more though.
Yeah.
Just thinking about the collective we and how we attempt to deal with all the body's vulnerabilities and urges. I feel like I like it. I just feel like I need more time with it to be able to really grasp it.
Me too. I feel like I'm more drawn to the second part of that, which is, you know, how we control the uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm.
And what is uncontrollable?
You can't control the inherently uncontrollable.
Yeah. So with that, I have one more quote from her that I thought was interesting in relation to, you know, what we're talking about, how she kind of, how I can see how that theme came through Raw and Titane as well. Like basically trying to illustrate the humanity of people who are, you know, who are taboo, basically, or who are exhibiting taboo behaviors. She said, again, in relation to Raw and how it's similar to Titane, she said, I think that all directors make the same thing over and over again. Someone once said that making movies is like looking at a diamond every time through a different facet, through a different side of the diamond. And I think that's really true.
Oh, I love that.
And I think that really also calls back to the fact that there's so many characters named the same name. You know, it feels like we're looking at the same or similar themes, just through a little bit of a different lens.
Yes. Ooh, yeah. I love that analogy.
And she also talked about, I read something else that she talked about the love between two of the main characters, which I won't name, but in Raw is similar to the love in this movie because it's unconditional and it's not your like traditional romantic love.
Yes, yes.
And she, I think she had said that she actually kind of regretted not making that a focal point of that movie but she wasn't ready to like fully go in on that on this movie. But it does feel like then she took that seedling of an idea and went in on it on Titane, because that is what this movie is about, is unconditional, not romantic, but familial love.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that too. A couple nice mic drops there at the end from our very own Tawny Ray.
I mean, that was not all my own brain. Let me just give that up. But yeah, that's what I got.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
So now let's rate this highly weird movie.
Want me to go?
Okay. Yeah, you go first.
Okay. So this is hard, but I feel pretty confident on this. I'm going to rate it a 3.5. And a 3.5 is what you gave Raw, and I gave Raw 4. I really liked Raw. And the hard thing is yeah, I think I liked this movie, and I feel like if I understood it more, I'd like it even more. The problem is some of the movies that I rated like a 3.25, I liked this one more. You know, so I'm in that like, maybe I would rate it a little bit less because I really did like Raw. I liked it a lot. So I'm in that predicament of maybe I should have scored Raw higher, but movies that are under a 3.5, I liked this one more than that. So I am going to give it a 3.5.
Okay. That's really close to mine. Because I looked at 3.5, but I think my 3.5s, and I gave Raw 3.5, and I like this less than I do Raw.
Yeah.
And I think the reason is Raw, again, there's like a protagonist that you feel sympathetic towards in a way that you don't in this movie. And I liked the themes, but I just didn't necessarily connect with them on a personal level to the degree that I did Raw. And even Raw, I didn't connect to the themes in a way that I do other movies like Antichrist or Audition. Like those are like high top level. Like I get it. I love it. I connect with it right away. Like these movies are less so. So I'm going to give it a 3.4. Nice. I'm going to go just under because I think I liked it more than my like 3.25s. And I can respect this movie a lot. Like I actually think that, you know, since watching it, I've sort of thought, oh, you know, this is a very good movie and I like the themes and I respect a lot of it. The acting was great. The cinematography was great. The sound design was great. There's so much about it that was good that I can't like knock it for that. It's just, it wasn't for me, basically.
Yeah. We're spot on with this one. Both of us felt the same, scored the same.
All right. So that's it. If you want to be uncomfortable, watch this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't have anybody else watch it with you.
I was like, this is a movie best watched alone.
This is 100%. A movie I probably wouldn't recommend people watch. You know, it's so funny. Like with Antichrist, I want people to watch it. I just know some of the stuff is going to be really uncomfortable for people. This is one where I'd be like, totally watch it if you want, but I'm not recommending you watch it.
Yeah, I'd be like, if you're super into body horror or you're super into new wave French extremity or, you know, or if you're super into art house films, watch this movie. Otherwise, leave it. Don't do it. Yeah.
Tawny and I just realized that next week we're watching Swallow. And I thought we had a break. I just thought we had another movie between. And so when I was watching this, I was like, oh, thank God. We're not going right into Swallow. And I just realized we are. So
yeah,
I just feel like it's going to be another really uncomfortable, cringy movie. So but I'm hoping excellent, but also uncomfortable.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that movie except, you know, I know that Jennifer.
Swallowing?
Yeah, that's something to do with pills.
I was just saying swallowing, which could go any way.
I mean, you're right. That could go.
You think it's about pills? Oh,
I thought so.
Oh, then you are watching a surprise. You're in for a surprise.
Okay. All right.
Because I watched the trailer, so that's why I know.
Oh, okay.
I didn't watch it, but I watched the trailer.
I thought you were joking. You're not joking.
No, I'm not joking.
All right. I did think it was about
porn. It's not a porn, but
I thought it was about medicating of some kind. She's not okay. She's not giving me anything. I am not going to watch the trailer. I'm just going to go in blind.
Just go in blind, and I'm so excited. I'm going to watch it.
What did we do to ourselves?
I know. I've wanted to see this for a really long time, but butted up right against this other Titane. I'm like, oh, geez. I'm going to be excited for some just regular old scary movies.
Me too.
Can we do like a flush of just regular old scary movies for a little bit?
I like that idea. Okay. Just some fucking, just not heavy on the themes.
Nope. Just boo. Ah. You know,
just some pure terror and fun.
Yes.
I'm here for that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're going to do that then. We're going to stack them up next month. Rest of the year. I'm just kidding. To make up for our
We're just going to watch Final Destination for the rest of the year.
We literally November, December, January, February. No, January. And then what month are we in now? March. We had some sort of French extremity stuff going on.
Yeah, we need to step away.
We need to step far away
from the French extremity for just a minute, just a little bit.
Yes, please. We'll revisit it again in 2023.
Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome. We're going to be watching Swallow next, and you can find us anywhere you want to find us. We are on Instagram as our main hub and twochicksandahorrorflick.com. From those two spots, you can find us anywhere else, like links to our podcast, the episodes on all the different podcatchers, to our Twitter, to our everything, including merch and our Discord channel where we chat it up with all of you. We love doing that. It is so fun. Whenever I hear it makes a certain sound like, it's like a different sound than like a text message. I'm like, oh, it's a Discord message. And I get excited. Oh, what else, Tawny?
You can support the show by going to our Patreon or giving us a rating or review on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on. Apple Podcast helps us the most. But that's the end of our episode. So we hope you guys have such a good night. No nightmares.